Hello, my name's Adrian Evans and this is my garden. When asked the question, what's the purpose of planting a tree in the garden? Well, I guess it's varied and many, but really it adds structure to the garden. It gives colour to the garden. It really gives the sort of atmosphere for all the rest of the plants that we plant underneath them. Another important part that a tree plays within our garden is that it allows for shade. It brings shade into the garden with its big open canopy, and it allows us to grow a different type of plant, those that don't like so much light levels. I certainly believe that there's a tree which will suit any garden, whether a big garden or a small garden. It's just about choosing the right tree for the right place, so that you've got it there that's going to grow and become wonderful throughout your lifetime and probably outlive you. When it comes to planting, preparation is really important. It's really recommended these days that we actually dig a square hole as opposed to a round hole. Tree roots, believe it or not, like to head towards and get out of this planting pit through the corners and through edges, hence the reason for making this square hole. What I've also done is taking the fork is to loosen some of this soil here in the bottom, so those roots again get the best chance of getting really down there through the soil profile. And one last tip that I always do is to just fork gently the sides of the planting hole here, so again we can get those roots growing out of the planting hole like so. But most people, they do like a round planting hole, so what I've simply done is to take away a round circle here of the grass, and then when the tree's planted and I put a top dressing on top of that, then we'll just see the round hole. Coming here now to the planting soil to go back into the planting pit, then I've got the soil that I took out and I've got the special soil that we're going to mix in with it, and I've done it in a ratio of 1 part soil from here and 1 part special soil. The nice part about this tree planting soil is that it's got an open, airy structure which is going to allow those tree roots to travel through it and get out of this planting pit, which is the most important thing, so it can anchor the tree within the ground. So it was basically just to mix it up, so we got a good consistency there, and I just put that straight back into the planting hole, nicely mixed. And there we have it. Trees that you buy from the nursery come in various forms, but these are the most 2 common ones, either in a root ball like this or in a pot. The tree I've chosen here is in a pot. Now just remove the pot, and you'll notice, like this root here, in pots, roots tend to circle themselves around the root ball. And we want these roots to grow outwards. So it's a case of really getting into this root ball and starting to get the roots. Doesn't matter if they break a little bit. It's just a case of getting them really out of that round circle shape so it doesn't circle around the planting pit. And once they're fully out like that, and when it goes into the planting hole, then those roots are going to find their way out of the planting hole a lot better. So now I have my tree in place, all our soils mixed and put back together, and I'm going to check the level of where this tree should come, because you should never ever cover this trunk with soil. And I do that by placing a cane next to it, and I can see that this is higher than what the soil level is going to be, which is good, because it also means that in winter water will drop off this like so, and it won't collect in a kind of bowl. So we're at the right height. Just check that we're straight and get rid of that now and start to fill. Need that. So we give that another firm, make sure that it's straight, Make sure that this isn't covered. Lovely. And that looks about right to me. It's very important that you give a lot of water to these trees, because at the end of the day what we're wanting to do with this tree is it to grow, to live and to get to its eventual size. So I'm going to make sure that enough water goes into this soil so that it gets right down into the bottom of those roots where they really need it. And it's especially important to keep giving it little and often, especially in dry periods, so we get plenty and plenty of water to give this tree what we've planted the best possible chance for growing. So to the final part of this is just to give it its support. A tree like this will need a support for at least the first 2 or 3 years, so we're not rocking about in the wind like this all the time. And it's recommended that we plant at least a third here, or the tree is tied a third to its stake, so that this top growth can actually move about in the wind, and this will strengthen all of the tree and anchor itself into the ground. So to tie, simply take it round here, round and round like this. Make sure the tree's in the middle. Take it round the tree, that's important, and just continue round to the other side like that. And finally just tie it off like so. There we go, and then we've got a good supported tree. So like as I said before, this top piece can move around in the wind, but this piece is going to strengthen itself and anchor those roots greatly into the soil.